Hello, I'm the creative chaotic who has been putting these poetry videos together, and welcome to my channel. So a little bit more about me. I am a intensely curious creative. I cannot stop making art or creating projects or thinking up new ideas. In fact, it's a bit too overwhelming. I gotta say, it's way too overwhelming, because then I end up with a million half-finished projects. My ADHD viewers will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But this channel is a great way to hone my focus, and I know that the one thing that has been consistent throughout the artwork that I've produced in my life is the poetic text, words, scriptive words, playing with words has almost always accompanied all my artwork in some way. I would love to speak about my process for producing the poetry videos that you have now seen on the channel, and if you haven't, please click on one to have a little look. I live in a big complex apartment building, and they happen to have a lot of green space, so I will get up super early in the mornings when I can get myself out of bed, and before my 2-year-old wakes up, I will come out here and I will sit on this bench right here, wherever it may be, because it wanders and moves all the time for some reason. I'll sit right there, and that's where I'll write. So if I don't have any sort of line in my head that really is compelling me to put it down on paper, if I feel really stuck, those are called ha-dee-daws. Sorry for the sound. Those are called ha-dee-daws. We get them in South Africa, and they're really loud. So, let's let them pass. Anyway, so interrupting me. So as I was saying, exercise. The one exercise that I love to do if I'm really stuck is free writing. This is a form of journaling where you sit down and you set a timer. I do set a timer because it helps me get going. It puts the pressure on. And you just write whatever is in your head. It can make no sense at all. It can be a verbal jumble of words. No judgment. Don't judge yourself. Just don't pick your pen off that paper and just write. Whatever's in your head. And then often while you're writing, that turns into something else, and other thoughts trigger other thoughts, and then you get this long entry where you're not thinking about anything, but there are nuggets of gold inside that journal entry. I will then go back to that journal entry. I'll highlight some compelling points, some imagery that I really love, and I'll use that as inspiration for a poem. And things tend to happen quite quickly from there for me when I'm writing. The other style of writing is sometimes it'll be in the middle of the day and I'm doing chores or cleaning up, or just in my head a lot, because that happens a lot. I'm in my head a lot. And something will just come to me, and I'm inspired by something I've heard, or triggered by something I've heard. And I just have to write it down then and there. And so I write until I get it out, and then I park it, because often I don't finish the poem then. I park it, I have to earmark it, make sure I know that it's there sitting waiting to be finished. Sometimes I forget. And then I'll come back later and see if something else flows with it, something else. If the story continues in my mind, I don't know how else to put it. So that's another thing that I'll do for writing. Then after I've written the poem, when I'm ready to do a video, I'll flip through poems I've written, I'll take one out, I might rewrite it and edit it a couple times, and then I will sit down and memorize it, a few lines at a time, and I just repeat over and over again, trying to memorize just a few lines, and then just a few more, and then just a few more, and then I will perform in front of the camera. And with those poems that I memorize, I will then sit down, underlie certain things that I can visually illuminate, animate, whatever. I'll underline those sections, and then we'll write down a list of things that I can film that will help move that imagery along, that will illustrate it. It's very simple. And then I'll have this collection of images, bring it all into DaVinci, which is an amazing free video editing program. And from there, I'll go to Epidemic Sound usually, and well, no, actually Epidemic Sound comes later on, but I lie down the poem and I listen to it a few times, and I look at my imagery. I fix the color of all the imagery. I think everyone's editing process is really different. I don't do a huge amount of planning for those poems. I do a lot of instinctive editing. I just want it to flow and feel fluid throughout, and I want to have interesting, beautiful visuals to capture an audience. My videos sometimes feel slow, but I feel like there's a space for slow art, I don't know, so that you can really take it in. It's really hard on YouTube because everything's about capturing an audience instantly. So I'll try with a strong visual at the beginning, and hopefully a very strong line, of course, of poetry. Yeah, and I'll edit into the words and use those visuals that I've gathered, which is a lot. Then I'll edit my voice and make sure it's a little bit higher, because I have not brought one of those lapel mics yet. I'm waiting on that. I do have a big Zoom mic, and I use that for my reading out loud poetry. So that's when I just read poetry to the camera. So I do have to play around with the audio a bit, because I don't want the Zoom microphone in those videos. So yes, I'll do that. And then I will go to Epidemic Sound and listen to a few tracks and try and find a mood, a song that will really suit the poem. I download it. I make sure to always credit the music producer or musician. I think that's really important. Even if I'm paying for the platform, I put that together and export and upload, and that's it, and I publish. So that's my process. Thank you so much for listening to this long intro. Here again is my space for writing. Next door is another apartment complex. Here we go. Oh, Adida. Awesome. Subscribe, as everyone says. Please do subscribe. Well, okay, bye.